one of the oddities about Roosevelt is, perhaps like Lincoln, that both political sides like to claim him.
That is a very interesting observation, yes.
We should get into why this is. You've used the term progressivism quite a lot, so let's do the left first. What are the things from Roosevelt that the left still today in America might admire, venerate, build upon?
Activism, a belief in the preeminence of the national government and its responsibilities for the well-being. Obama liked to talk about Roosevelt being the sort of great-grandfather of national health care.
On the centenary of one of Roosevelt's most famous speeches, it was in 2011 on the centenary, Obama goes to the place where Roosevelt had spoken and
Yes.
tries to sort of pick up the mantle, basically.
So the left either likes or should like, if it was paying attention and not thinking obsessively about race, should like, on a policy level, a great deal about Roosevelt. He was one of the great debates in the 19th century was over whether the American nation should be a consolidated nation state in the European fashion or should maintain its federal system with the division of powers between and among states and localities. He was thoroughly a nationalist. When he came back, he finished the second term, went off to Africa on a safari, and left his hand-pointed successor, William Howard Taft, in office. He didn't like Taft, predictably, I think. Taft wasn't, he wasn't enough of a conservationist in various other ways. And so he comes storming back, starts giving speeches. And he's clearly going to contest the Republican nomination in 1912. And one of them he gives in Kansas at, I believe it's at Pottawatomie, which is John Brown made famous in a grisly way. It's called The New Nationalism. That's what we named the speech.
This is a speech in 1911. Yeah.
Well, it's 1910.
1910.
But it's before he's announced as a candidate. And he presents this image of the nation as and this is a very left trope, as a marching army, that we sort of sacrifice the particulars of individualism and individuality. You think of him as an individualist, but in this way he wasn't. We sacrifice those things to the common weal, to the imperatives of this sort of marching army in which we are bound together exclusively by our American identity. He was very much an opponent of the idea of hyphenated identities, Italian American and sort of thing.
It was just American.
Yeah. And he was very assimilationist in that way. That's another one of his contemporary sins, is his emphasis on assimilation. Although that's really not a fair criticism, but it is what it is. To the extent that American liberalism in the 20th century has been about the ascendancy of national power, power centered in Washington, and increasingly in the administrative state that is extra-constitutional in character. Roosevelt was all for that kind of thing, and from the point of view of someone like me who thinks much of what's wrong with America now is that we've drifted away from our constitutional moorings and have this massive administrative state, which is answerable to no one and nothing, that this is something that Roosevelt deserves some of the blame for. But I think that the contemporary left would see him as just getting some of the credit for it.